98% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get pumped, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the Hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters don't move.
Say what's cracking, YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down! Now, for those of y'all that's new to my page, in 1994, I got arrested. I was eventually sentenced to 16 years plus life, and I served 24 years straight in the California prison system. Normally, I come on here and I talk about prison stories and the things that I did on the street that played a role in me going to prison. Every Friday, though, I'm going to get back to doing what I call a free game Friday. And so what that is I'm going to try to drop a little wisdom and knowledge to the dudes that's out there in the street, and especially the younger generation, in the same way that some of my older homies would come and talk to me and my homies when I was out there in the street trying to get me to move smarter and eventually move from the streets altogether, man. So let's hop right up into this free game Friday, man. And so, it was, it dawned on me basically that these are definitely different times, man, than when I was out there in the streets. I was out there in the streets in the mid to the late 80s, early 90s, so on and so forth, man. And, things has definitely changed, and so it just dawned on me that in order to, be a little bit more effective, I have to talk about a lot of the things that's going on in today's street activity, today's street scene. And so some of the things that I see that to me, and of course, let me just say this, right? I grew up in a different era. If I had grew up in this era in the streets today, I'm sure 100% I would be out there doing the same stuff that these dudes are doing, because when you grow up and you're in the streets, you're out there doing whatever is the norm, whatever is popular, right? So regardless of how game goofy it looks to me now, because I'm from a different era, but had I been in this era, it's no question, right? So I'm definitely not trying to make these individuals look bad. Like I say, I'm calling it as I see it from an individual, man, who has been through it all. You know what I'm saying? The streets, the pen, and so on and so forth. One of the first things I'm gonna call out, man, right now is when dudes hop up on these social media platforms and they disrespect other people's gangs and so on and so forth, right? There is no way an individual can fight an enemy that he does not know is out there, right? So I know that's what's going on and that's what's popular, right? But for an individual that's really on that and is really with that, what you are doing is extremely dangerous activity, because you are putting a target on yourself, right? Everybody that you beefing with and so on and so forth don't necessarily do social medias and all that. For one, it's crazy because you are leaving the police and the prosecutors and the investigators, in the event you get into it with somebody, you are leaving a social media fingerprint evidence for them to track you down. The first thing they gonna do when you get into trouble nowadays is to run to your social media sites. When I say they, I'm talking about the police. They want to see what you're talking about on social media, who you beefing with. That's going to give them an automatic lead to if you a gang member, who you was funking with, so on and so forth, right? So if it's well known and documented that the area that you from is beefing with another area, and then they look on your social media site, they see you hanging with those dudes, they see you disrespecting, taunting, or disrespecting the ops, that's going to automatically let them know that you was an active participant and whatever it is going on. But like I say, it's bigger than that, man, because everybody is not on here going back and forth, right? When I was locked up, I used to see a lot of people killed in Chicago over the weekend, or so many people shot. And I used to wonder, like, damn, what the hell is going on? But once I got out and I started looking into that, Chicago just like all these other cities that's beefing with each other, regardless of what state the city is in. All these individuals a lot of times know each other. They went to school with each other, so on and so forth. And if they have not, and you are on this thing disrespecting people and talking crazy, now people have a target, right, of who they're looking for. When these individuals are all in the same city, they fail to realize that they frequent and visit some of the same spots and some of the same places, man. So walking around, after you have done that, after you have put a target on yourself, is ridiculous. Back in the days, man, in my day, you would have some dudes who would get disrespectful tattoos on themselves. And, that's crazy, because now when you put a disrespectful tattoo on your neck or your face or whatever, you are pretty much letting everybody know that, hey man, I'm beefing with these dudes and these dudes are my enemies and I'm killing these dudes. Even if you don't necessarily mean it, right? But if you happen to run across one of the opposition and they really mean it, that is a dead giveaway, right? So all you have to do is be downtown right after you then went live disrespecting your ops or whatever, and now people know who they looking for, right? And a lot of people feel that just because they have a gun, the gun is gonna be protection, right? If a dude runs up on you and you don't even know this dude got a problem, there's no way to fight an enemy that you don't even know what's out there. And if he catches you slipping and he pops on you, you can guarantee that you will not be the first dude that died with his gun on him. Also, another thing that I see that's extremely game goofy, in my opinion, man, dropping your location. I know that seems like it's cool. You telling dudes, hey, man, here I am. Come holler at me if you want to see me. But once again, all this stuff is live, right? All this stuff is live. Dudes is talking and recording and stuff. And so once again, the police already have an idea of what's going on in the event there is any gunplay, right? I remember an incident, man. I seen where an individual dropped his location, right? Somebody came by and popped at him. Now, the dude came by and popped at him. He missed, right? But let's just say he had a hit the dude. To me, it's just crazy, to alert someone to your presence that you're beefing with, someone that's trying to kill you. You don't know if they coming or not. You don't know what they may be pulling up in or whatever. You don't know if they may be following you or whatever. To me, it's just crazy to give a person that is really trying to take your life any type of heads up on, what you look like, what you driving, where you sitting at. To me, that's just crazy, man. And a lot of these dudes might be dropping a location from their mama's house or their girlfriend's house. So now, not only are they endangering themselves, they're endangering family members and just, potentially kids and stuff. People just, brothers and young sisters who are not even participating in this type of thing, right? So a lot of times, man, people don't be thinking, they do a lot of foolish stuff because it's a fad, it's what's going on, and it looks cool, man. But at the end of the day, man, I'm going to end this with this thing right here. People have to realize, man, it's not cool and it's not the main objective to die in the streets. The main objective is to move forward, to get on and live. If you get gunned down in the street, that's not the main objective. You don't get cool points, right, for getting gunned down in the street. I can honestly say now that I have moved forward and moved past a lot of that bull stuff, right, it's much better, man, to be driving past the police and not be concerned with getting pulled over. You'll not be concerned if a dude gonna pull up on me and trip on me or whatever, because of something that I'm currently involved in. We can never get away from everything, but the more we can eliminate the less hassle, the less hassle that it is, man. So that's just a word to the wise out there, man. Don't be game goofy. Don't move as a game goofy individual would move, man. Dropping your location, crazy, going on here disrespecting the ops, letting them know what you look like, and also, giving people an idea of who you are and just making yourself an easier target is crazy. Anyway, man, today is Friday. And that's some free game for you.